Welcome to the third and final part in my series on editing features of the Helix, and today we're going to be talking about some preset reordering and other grab bag of things you may not know you can do with the Helix. So here I am on my bank, and I have Cool Preset 2 at the beginning. Where's Cool Preset 1? Well, Cool Preset 1 was on 30D, so I would have to go down in my banks to find it somewhere else. What I really want is Cool Preset 1 here and Cool Preset 2 here. That's what I would really like, 31A and 31B. So again, I can press down on my preset knob as though it were a button. It brings this screen up. Now when we look here, we can turn this knob and go up and down, and we can see we've got Cool Preset 1 up here and Cool Preset 2. And like I said, I just want them down below. So with Cool Preset 1 and Cool Preset 2, let's go to Cool Preset 2. We want it to be at 31B. So I have this knob right here. I can turn it down and you see Cool Preset 2 move down. If I just roll that, you see the preset moves up and down the list. So I'll just put it at 31B. Then I can come up here and select Cool Preset 1, turn that knob again, get it down to 31A. And now I have what I wanted, Cool Preset 1, Cool Preset 2. So I could just switch back and forth between them. So that is how you can reorder your presets easily. This is really great, especially if you show up and the band leader says, oh, we just changed the order of all of our songs. You can come in here and just move these things up and down and put them in whatever order you need them to be for the gig. Let's get back to the blocks here. I mentioned earlier that I love the sound of a delay into the front of a dirty amp for leads. So let's say I've decided that's what I want on this preset. So I can use my joystick to select it. Now I press the action button, and I'm going to press it a couple times. Watch what happens to the block. See, every time I click it, it looks like it picks it up or it puts it back down. And that's exactly what it's doing. So I'm going to press it and it's going to pick it up. And while it's picked up, I can use my joystick to move it around. So it's that easy to reorder your pedals. Now let's say I want to have my compressor after my drive. Pick it up, move it after the drive, put it back down. So that's easy, right? Next thing I want to show you is this button right here. Look at that icon on there. Is that a suitcase or something? No, of course not. This is a guitar pedal. So take a look over here and you'll see that it's the exact same icon as that amplifier right there. So what that means is when you're on a preset, no matter what you have selected, if you want to adjust your amp parameters, you can press that button and it'll jump straight to your amp no matter where it is. Instead of using the joystick to move your selector all over the screen, you just press that button, you go straight to it. This home button over here is pretty easy. If you're in some other screen like the preset screen, or maybe you're over here in the global settings screen or something like that. You're like, what happened to all my effects? I don't know where anything is. Just press that home button. It'll take you right back to the primary screen so you can see everything that's going on. I pointed out a few times that I have my Helix set up with my presets on top and my snapshots on bottom. And that is how I like to use it for performances, but there's a lot of other modes you can use here. So what we're going to do is press this little button with the three lines, the hamburger menu, come in here, go into the global settings, and while we're in the global settings, you see we have all these different categories you can choose from. We want to go to foot switches, and down here on foot switches, you can see I have mine set to preset and snapshot. So what that means is I'm going to have presets on top and snapshots on the bottom. If I change that setting to snap and presets, it's the reverse. Now I have my snapshots on top and my presets on the bottom. So there's a lot of different modes in here, and you can pick whichever one, of course, that you like best. This would be snapshots on top and stomps on the bottom. This one would be stomps on top and snaps on the bottom. So you can see here I have my stomps on top and my snapshots on the bottom. So now I can control both. Let's say for this preset, I want to be able to have a pitch shifter, an octave down pitch shifter, so I can get some fat low notes while I'm playing along. And I want to be able to control that pitch shifter independently of my snapshots. In other words, if I feel like being on my rhythm snapshot and turn on a pitch shifter, I want that pitch shifter to stay on even if I switch over to my lead, so I keep having that octave sound. And if I'm on my lead with the octave down, I may want to be able to switch back to my clean and keep that pitch shifter on the whole time. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So first thing we have to do is add our pitch shifter. So let's go in here, down to pitch, mono, simple pitch. We've got it. Let's pick it up like I showed you. Let's move it to the front of the chain. Helix's pitch shifting algorithms work best with the most pure signal and single notes. Next thing we need to do is get a button to assign it, so we know how to do that. We lightly rest our finger, we choose OK. Now we can turn the snapshot on and off. But we have a little bit of a problem with the way I wanted it to work. Remember, say we're on the lead snapshot and we turn it off. When we switch, we want it to stay off when we switch back to another preset. I switch back to my dirty preset and it popped back on. So now I gotta turn it off. I want that to stay off. Switch back to my clean preset, it snaps back on again. I want it to stay off. Okay, good. I have it off on all my snapshots now, but of course now we have the opposite problem. I switch to my dirt snapshot and I wanna turn it on. So I turn it on and I want it to stay on when I cut in for my solo. I switch over to my lead and it turned back off. So I kick it back on. Now I play my lead with it on. I turn it back off. Now I switch back to my dirt sound and it popped back on again. It's just not doing what I want. I want independent control. Helix has a knob for that. Let's go into the action menu here. We press action. We look along the bottom here. We see snapshot bypass. That means should the snapshot control the bypass of your block. So let's roll the knob to switch it to off. See, on, off. So I've got it switched off. Let's press home to get out of that menu and just be back at the home screen. Now I'm in my rhythm mode. I kick that pitch shifter on. I switch over to my lead snapshot. Pitch shift stays on. Switch back over to clean. Have a little more playing with the pitch shifter turned on. Turn the pitch shifter back off, and now when I switch back to my lead, pitch shifter stayed off. So that snapshot bypass is how you can have some pedals that are controlled by your snapshots and some pedals that are ignored by your snapshots. So that is your snapshot bypass function. I'm on my home menu. Now I just have 8 presets here. I can press mode to go into my stomp mode where I have all my pedals set up. I can press mode to go back to presets, but how do I get to be able to see my snapshots? So what you do there is you press both of these buttons at the same time. It's a little bit harder in bare feet or with your hands, but if you got shoes on during a gig or something, it's real easy. I press both of these at the same time, and now you can see I have all my snapshots available. So now I'm in my snapshot mode, and I can switch between all of my snapshots. If I need to get back to my presets, I can either press cancel here, which does it, or again, we'll press these 2 to get back into snapshot modes. I can also press those 2 again, and it'll exit out of snapshot mode. So that's how you can get in and out of snapshot mode, even if you don't have your snapshots showing on your main screen. Let's go back into our global settings here. Global settings, and we have here also the ability to set my up-down switches. And you see my up-down switches, you may have noticed that mine were on preset up and down, and that's so I can just press them one at a time and go up and down presets. You see I can, every time I press, I go from 31B to 31C. The default is banks. So now these switches are bank up and down, so if I press bank down, I just get into a whole new bank of presets, which are flashing, showing I haven't switched yet. So I can now switch to 29B, or I can press up. They're flashing again. I haven't selected yet. Go to preset 2. Also, you can set this to snapshots. So now, while we're on here, let's go to the home screen so you can see it. Whenever I press this, it's going to remember my first snapshot is clean. press up, it switches to my dirty snapshot. Press up again, it switches to my lead snapshot. Back down to my rhythm, back down to my clean. So those are the three modes you can have on these two switches. Now, of course, like I showed you, what I like to do in my global settings is have it set to presets. But I might have it on preset mode in the middle of the gig and the band leader calls a song that's 18 presets away because I didn't know what order the songs were going to be in. Now I could just press the up button or the down button 18 times till I get to it, but that's going to take a while. So what I can do is just hold these two down, and you see it switched modes. It now says snapshot. Hold these two down again, it'll switch to bank. And now that I have it set on bank, I can switch down a couple of banks, grab the preset I need, switch back up a couple of banks, and get back to my cool preset number 2. I can go into the global settings and change this from banks to presets to snapshots, or I can just hold these buttons down and they'll switch. And you can now see it's on preset. Hold it down again, it switches to snapshots. Hold it down again, switches to banks. And you can even see it changing on the settings screen up above to follow my setting. There it is, kind of a long video, but I hope everyone was able to learn something and take away a few tips and tricks to help them out with their Helix. Hit the subscribe button if you like it. Head over to my website. You can always support me by buying presets. It always encourages me and gives me the time and the resources to make more of these videos if you find them useful. Thanks a lot. See you next time.